This is Parish President Mike Cooper. St. Tammany Parish is home to an abundance of resources. Whether it's career opportunities, financial assistance, mental health services, caring nonprofits, and so much more, we want to bring those resources to you. This is Community Connect.
Welcome back to Community Connect. I'm your host, Michael Vincino. This is a show where we connect our citizens to critical resources within our community. On this episode, we're talking about a very, very important message. Joining me now, David Johnson, the founder of the Seymore Foundation. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Talk to me about the foundation and the intention, why it was founded, and where we are today.
Sure, yeah, well, like you said, this is a Seymore DeFair Foundation, and obviously by the names, it's named after Seymore DeFair, who was the 1984 World's Fair mascot. And so we've brought Seymore back into the fold to be a brand ambassador for drug-free Louisiana. And so part of the foundation's mission is education for pre-adolescent kids. That's K through 6. And that's what we're really focused on, because in the drug prevention world, if we don't start young, we end up with the problems that we have today. So that's what we try to drive home. So this year, we've been having a program, well, let me back up. We've been having a program in the schools that we've been beta testing for the last 6 years. It's called Kiki's Red Ribbon School Celebration. And what it is it's a 5-day program with 50-minute modules that are used over Red Ribbon Week. And what we do is we institute it, and we've been using it in the parish for the last 5 years, along with Orleans Parish and Lafayette, where we've been beta testing the program. And so we've had a lot of success. So this year, what we're really excited is that we've gotten together with the school board and the school system, and they've agreed to push the program out to 30 schools. The K through 3 is what we're going to start with this year. And so we have the school program going, and so we had a brainstorming meeting at the foundation. We decided to add a community component to the program. And so that's where Wrap St. Tammany in Red came in. And the whole idea about Wrap St. Tammany in Red is to get the community involved, literally, by trying to make everything in the parish red the last week of October, that's 23rd through the 31st, celebrated during Red Ribbon Week, but it's to drive home the message about drug prevention and the needs that we have here in the parish.
Talk to me about 1985 compared to 2024 drug prevention when the Seymore Foundation was started compared to where it is now. It's a totally different world.
Totally different, yeah. Back in the day when I was a young guy, I had this crazy dream, and I bought Seymore out of the bankruptcy court, and I assembled a franchise of characters, and we put together the first pre-adolescent drug education program in Louisiana at that time. Now, I have no skill sets in that, but I just had a young guy with a lot of passion around me. And so we ended up putting a 1-hour theater program together with people that came from Jim Henson's Muppets and a lot of different real talented people. And we were able to produce 63 performances, 1-hour performances, over a 7-week period. We had 40,000 kindergartner through 6th graders that we bussed into a theater in Jefferson Parish. We had 110 schools. It was a pretty phenomenal program. It was backed by Sheriff Harry Lee, Al Copeland with Popeyes, and we had support all the way up to the White House through John Breaux, Bob Livingston, to Nancy Reagan. So it really went well, but for 2 years we kind of floundered. We couldn't figure out how to keep it moving, so I kind of put it back on the shelf. And a couple of years later, I met my wife, who's a first grade teacher. And so it's been sitting on a shelf for about 25 years, and so 5-6 years ago we decided to pull it out because of the needs. My own family's been impacted by drug addiction. So we saw the need there. My wife being a first grade teacher, really we need to start prevention at a very young age. We keep waiting and treating people. We need to start preventing. And so that was the advent of the Kiki's Red Ribbon School Celebration in 2018. And we piloted, we were very fortunate, we met Mika Camarena, who is the wife of Kiki Camarena, which was the reason why Red Ribbon Week was founded back in 1985. So we started from there, and we just started moving forward. And then the coalition, I'm gonna bring that into the picture now, all the parishes around St. Tammany have drug prevention coalitions. And the state has been wanting somebody to set one up here in St. Tammany. So for whatever reason, they didn't have one. So we have a drug prevention foundation, and we got a call from somebody in the governor's office 2 years ago about would we consider doing it. So me and my wife spent about 14 months joining all the other coalitions around this parish, and sat down with them, went to their meetings, started learning how they were building their mousetrap to service their communities. And so back in April, we decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and do it. And so we brought on Craig Wiles. He's one of the founding members of the coalition, and we've started pushing it home. And so actually, this week was our second monthly meeting for the coalition, and so we're really starting to build capacity with that. And the whole idea about the coalition compared to the foundation is that the foundation produces programs. That's its function. The coalition is about working, it's strictly a hub. It partners with everybody in the community. They build all the spokes, and you find out what the needs are in the parish, and then the foundation is able to supply those resources to them in addition to any other resource that they could use. And so now we have the Louisiana Children and Youth Prevention Coalition that serves St. Tammany, that's teamed up with Seymour's Foundation, and it's all about bringing these programs together and actually going out into the community and executing needs. And so the Wrap Red Ribbon, the St. Tammany Red program is all about doing that. And so it's our first big initiative for the coalition. We figured that we didn't want to have 6 months of meetings before we decided what to do. So our first meeting was 5 weeks ago. We hooked everybody. We said, we have a big initiative. We're going to wrap St. Tammany in red. It's all about messaging. It's a marketing program, but it's about drug awareness. And so that's what we did. And so we're into our 5th week now, and we're putting different components together. We started off with just Mandeville being part of this Wrap St. Tammany in Red, and we had a micro program where we had the business community get involved. We wanted to get just the schools in the Mandeville area involved. We already have the mayor's commitment. Actually, Mayor Madden's been on board since 2018 when Mika Camarena came in for our first school program. And you know how things go. You start brainstorming, you get with people, and all of a sudden our business community turned into a competition. So what we want to do now is that we want to challenge all the businesses, all the schools, since now we have the program in the schools, to get involved. And look, all we're trying to do is get everybody to just do something red. The last week in October, it's symbolic. It shows that everybody's paying attention. It's done during National Red Ribbon Week, and everybody's already accustomed to that anyway. But it's a little bit different venue because the run of the mill over the last 30 years with Red Ribbon Week has been about crazy hair and crazy socks. There's no substance to it. And so Dara and her team of educators have put together a real good program that actually gives content to the schools to utilize. So there's purpose behind it. It's just not a go happy day during the week. You know, kids get to learn something, and Dara can share much more details about that. So that's where we are right now. And then we came up with we added on to the competition for Wrap St. Tammany in Red, and we have the Mayor's Challenge. And so now what we're doing is we're getting the mayors involved in it, where each one of the mayors are going to challenge each other to wrap their city in red. It's very limited, is that they can do their city hall, they can do their main street, and they can pick a school within their city limits, wrap it in red, and then we're going to send a judging team out. They're going to go judge who's going to be the winner, and we actually have, can I show this?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the Crystal Trophy, and it's a torch, and it's symbolic to Kiki Camarena, is that his foundation, the torch is the symbol of their foundation. So we call it Kiki's Eternal Torch. And so we want to have something modeled after that. And it's a simple program. The winning city gets to house this for a year, and then the next year, it's rolled out, and whoever wins the next one. So this is a perpetual program they're putting together. We're institutionalizing the things that we're doing to keep them moving forward. So it's not going to be a one-shot deal. We want this to keep rolling on forever in perpetuity. And hopefully when I'm retired and out of the game, that I can still sit back and watch the fruits of our labor, what we've tried to get started here, and just watch the organization grow, watch the events grow, and get the community involved. Because it's very important. Without the community, look, you can dictate from the top down. We're treating a lot of people, but we really need to start where the kids are. So in 10 years, we get these kids cycling through these programs. We might see some positive outcomes at the end of the day.
Yep.
So that's where we're going, and that's basically what we have going on now.
So in late October, the citizens of St. Tammany, they're going to see a lot of red around the parish.
That's what we're hoping.
How can they get involved? What can they do?
Well, they can go to our website. It's www.seymoorsfoundation.org, and October 1st, we'll have all that information up online. If you're a homeowner and you want it, we have 3 different categories for the competition. We have schools, we have businesses, and we have individual homeowners. And there's some simple decorating criteria that they'll be able to register for free. And we're at the Wide Water Festival on October 26th is where we're going to have an award ceremony. And we have 3 place winners from each category, and they'll be recognized. You got to show up to get your prize. It'll be something kind of like this. And so once again, it's to recognize the people that want to get involved. And we have a lot of different things. We have big flags with, it's wrapped St. Tammany in red, so we have some different things that I'm sure you guys can show, that yard signs, different things like that to promote it. And we also have some commitments we're hoping to come through where the governor's going to have the state capitol lit in red, the governor's mansion lit in red. We've asked for some help to get the Crescent City Connection and the Superdome lit up in red, and that would be for the last week in October. So it's a symbolic thing. It's like everything, it's messaging. If we don't get the message out, nobody knows. Unfortunately, a lot of people look the other way. A lot of families are impacted. Every family, almost to the T, everybody that we meet over the last 5 years that we've been doing this, we always meet people that have impacts. But people don't like to talk about it, and it's really unfortunate. And so we're just trying to get everybody to understand what's going on. This is decimating our country, our parish. I think last year we had 116 people die from overdoses, things that nobody likes to talk about. But we need to talk about them. We need to recognize them. Suicides through the roof. So this is just something, and it's what we're doing with Seymore is to put a smile on it because it's such a negative topic.
Before it gets to the bad side.
Exactly, you know, because when somebody dies, they die. I lost a godchild 2 years ago to overdose, and, you know, it breaks everybody's heart. And I have a big family, big and small. Socioeconomics doesn't matter. It crosses all the different planes. So it hits everybody. And, you know, and so that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to put our foot forward the best way we can to help the community. The coalition is set up to be a resource, and we're hoping that it grows over time, and this show can help get that word out and be the megaphone for us to bring more members into our coalition. We meet every month. We have a Facebook page. You can go online and find all that. We want the community as well as businesses to participate in what we do, because we don't know what the needs are until we hear from the community. And that was the whole idea about the Mayor's Challenge. We want every mayor in this parish to be part of the coalition. They're the boots on the ground. They know what's going on in their community. So if we have them or a representative from their office at each one of our meetings, we can find out what their needs are. In doing that, we can put together solutions to meet their needs. So everybody in the parish gets it. It's not just the East, not just the West, because they're diametrically opposed with problems. You know, I mean, we have two different demographics here, but we all share the same addiction problem. Drug usage, it doesn't matter where you live. So that's our goal here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just make the world a better place with a smile with Seymore.
All right. First off, thanks for showing up today and spreading the word, but also thanks for all you do with this initiative. It's critically important.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll have more right after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. So we've talked about the community push for Red Ribbon Week. Now we're talking about the efforts into the schools. Joining us now is Dara Johnson, who's leading that effort, critically important. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us. As a retired educator of 37 plus years, this is dear to my heart, what we do in the school system. I worked with a group of teachers from across the state who were just tired of the crazy hair, crazy sock, and there was no meaning to the message. So we decided to put together a program that we could use in the elementary grades K to 6, that would focus on drug awareness, education, and prevention. And for the past 7 years, we have been doing this in the school system It's free to all school systems. We are funded by our own Louisiana state license plate. So whatever proceeds we get from this goes back into foundation, and the teachers can download all our program for free for the whole week. So we were fortunate 7 years ago to have come across DEA agent Mr. Harold Patin, who flew Mika Camarina, Kiki's wife, here to our pilot schools in Orleans, Lafayette, and St. Tammany Parish. And she was able to view what the schools do to honor the legacy of her husband, but also promote a drug-free life for our children. So our program has, like I said, been in the school systems for the past 7 years. We are excited this year. Our theme is "The Leader in Me is Better Drug-Free." And the students will focus this year for Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through 31st, on being happy, being drug-free on day one. And we will honor those who are committed to promoting a drug-free lifestyle, like Kiki Camarina. We will also be doing on the day two a story of Who Am I? And the students will focus on what makes them unique to their family, to their friends, to the school, to the community. Our day three, we focus on drugs, the effects of medicines and drugs on the students. Now, for the lower grades, we can only do tobacco, alcohol, vaping, and over-the-counter medication, which is really something that some parents aren't aware of.
Yeah.
Like, what can happen? You know, a lot of times being an educator, you would hear, oh, my mom said, oh, go get a Tylenol. How do you know, at that age, how much, and are they really taking a Tylenol? They might misread the bottle. So on day three, that's what we focus on, are the importance of just being safe, having an adult there. And we also do with the children peer pressure situations that day. How would you respond if this would happen at school, in the community? What would you do to protect yourself? And on our day four, it's The Leader in Me is Better Drug-Free, where they focus on themselves. And it's a creative writing activity, so we actually incorporate the subject areas into the week. It's kind of a plug-and-play program. There's music, activities, games that they can do with other classes, just to get that message across. But the writing activity is about them. What makes them unique to the family, the community, positive things about themselves. And then day five is when we take our coalition, which is the community, and the students, and we have an assembly that we end the week with a school-wide assembly. We invite community members to come and work with the kids. In the past, we had the honor of having Mika Camarina our first year with the DEA. We have had the ATF come and do a demonstration with the kids. There's music, cheer teams participate. So it's all about joining the school and the community in such an important lesson, and about the importance of being drug-free.
Here in St. Tammany, there's obviously a tremendous need for awareness, prevention, treatment, and there's a lot of that for adults. But that wouldn't be necessary if there was more for children. So this message is really important for you guys to push it in the schools and make sure the kids, K through third grade, are getting this information.
It is. And then a lot of times when we're working with the kids, things come out that maybe you weren't aware of. I know as a teacher, my last year teaching, at our Christmas party, one of our parents who was incarcerated but was out at the time for medical reasons, she came to our Christmas party. She was invited to come, and she thanked me. She said, my child, when I came home, had all of her red ribbon things out, and that was back in October. She said, and I am so grateful that she was paying attention, that she saw everything that you were doing. She understood it. You know, she understood where her parent was. And she said, if anything, I pray that she won't live the life that I have. So
Powerful.
It is, and you've touched one. So if I can touch one, just think of what the whole parish could touch. And we are a community in need. So Red Ribbon Week is dear to my heart, and I'm looking forward to this year's celebration in the schools, in the community. We would love everyone to get involved. And for teachers, this is a sample of our program summary that we have, and it's all available online starting October 1st. And you can just download, print what you need. There's music. Every day they start with a song, and it's plug and play, so you can do it at different times of your day. It's great.
When you talk to the students, they always think, oh, it's Tuesday, it's Crazy Hair Day, or it's Wednesday, it's Crazy Sock Day. How do you get your message to them while intertwining those things?
Well, some schools still use the crazy hair, crazy sock, but now that they have this in front of them and they're doing these creative activities, learning about who Kiki is, the importance of themselves in our community, the crazy hair, crazy sock hopefully will go away. And this will just be our focus for the kids. Because I can't tell you how many children come to school with crazy hair, crazy sock. They don't know what it's all about. And then they're in the bathroom washing the stuff out of their hair by lunchtime because it's aggravating. So this way we have meaning to our message. And like I said, we have done this across 3 parishes, and we've had positive response. And that's all we're looking for, is just get this message out to our kids at a young age.
What is your why? Why do you do this, and why do you keep pushing for this?
That is a good question, because my husband and I are both cancer survivors, and I'm retired, and this is something I just feel is important to me. I get thumped, I think, by God frequently that says keep moving forward, and that's what we do. And coming here today and having the opportunity to send our message out, it just brings me happiness. I think that's one of my reasons God said, I'm not finished with you yet, so move on. And that's what I'm doing.
You've been through a lot, and you keep on going, but we thank you for that. It's critically important.
Thank you for having us today. And all teachers can go to our website, seymoresfoundation.org, and they can download our program.
Okay, any other resources you want to share? It's all on the website. Go there.
Everything is on the website,
Okay.
Yes. We have a plethora of information, from the coalition to the foundation. We have resources for parents also, like if you host, you lose the most, if you have a party with alcohol and things. So there's information for students, parents, teachers, anything that we need. And actually on the back of our snapshot of the week, for students, we have a parent discussion page. So each day, whatever we talked about in the classroom, the parents have questions and discussion that they can do at home in the evening with their children.
So check your kids' folders.
Check those folders.
All right. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks
We
for all you do
appreciate
for
it.
us citizens.
Thank
We appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Community Connect. We're continuing this critical conversation, and that continues now with Craig Wiles, a retired DEA agent and a member of the Coalition and the Foundation. How are you?
Michael, thank you so much for having us today. We truly appreciate it, and I'm doing fine. So thank you, sir.
Let's talk about your involvement and how you get involved and your passion here.
Yeah. So again, many thanks. So the reality of our current state of affairs is that it takes a village. We can take a look, unfortunately, at the numbers over the years. Historically, 2 years ago, we lost 107,000 on drug overdose nationwide. Mm-hmm. Last year, the number declined slightly, but still we're looking at somewhere between 295 or 305 a day, drug overdose deaths. Frightening, and when you drill down a little bit further, what we find is that's about 1 every 5 minutes. And in our St. Tammany Parish area, we had over 400 calls of service for our first responders for drug events. From that, 116 overdose deaths here in St. Tammany Parish. So we're 1 every 3 days or so. And in the spirit of those numbers, as a member of the Drug Enforcement Administration for a number of years, and proud to say, as a founding member of the Louisiana Children and Youth Prevention Coalition here on the North Shore, we issue a call to action. We issue a call to action to this village that we live in, and that is, hey, listen, this year, let's put our best foot forward, mm-hmm. and let's cause some type of disruption in this current trend that we're facing. The numbers get a little bit more complicated, but the realities are, Michael, that we have roughly 105 suicides a year in the United States, 132 shooting incidents in the United States, 106 traffic fatalities, all related to drugs. So when you pile all those numbers together, what we find is every day we have somewhere around 680 people dying from a drug-related or drug overdose deaths. That's 1 every 2 minutes. So the realities is a community, as a village, we have to look at a 3-legged stool approach. We have to look at enforcement. We've got to go after the evil that's spilling this poison into our communities. The DEA just released something recently, a statement recently, that 1 out of 6 pills that they seize contains fentanyl. But in the spirit of this 3-legged stool, we have a couple of other legs that we need to address. For sure, we need to look at treatment. We need to look at treatment. And the reason I say that is because when you were sitting around when you were 10 years of age, little Sally and little Johnny weren't talking about their future endeavors by saying, you know what, I want to be an air traffic controller. I want to be an astronaut. You know, I think I want to be an addict. Yeah, that conversation didn't happen. So we have an obligation as a society, as a community, to help those that are struggling with addiction. And then, of course, how do we prevent this? Well, we can prevent it through education and starting the conversation. I would encourage every family to start the conversation with their children and with members of their communities. See, we'll never know how many lives we've saved. We'll never know how successful this messaging is. But in essence, that's kind of the beauty of it. Because let's be honest, what have we been told since our earliest days of education? And Michael, and that is the greatest gift is love. Mm-hmm. The greatest gift is love. And if we have compassion and we have love and we share this messaging, then let's see if we can cause some type of disruption with this trend that we're experiencing. And I'm proud to say that although I've been talking about prevention for 42 years, and I've had the pleasure and honor of speaking to many, many associations and groups, it's speaking with parents that have lost loved ones that drives it home. And this foundation and this coalition have taken a giant leap forward by saying, you know what, let's do something. Let's do something, and let's wrap St. Tammany in red. And let's take a look at Mandeville, and let's challenge our government leaders to compete against each other by sharing a like-minded messaging. And let's see where we can go with this. And in that spirit, the coalition, of course, and its objective
Bring it on up.
is using this messaging to ensure that we continue with that theme.
So it's a conversation that every family thinks we don't need to have this because it'll never happen to us. And there's often a stigma. Nobody wants to talk about drugs, especially with the youth, but it's one you have to have.
Yeah. I tell you, Michael, if it hasn't impacted you yet, God bless you. My wife, unfortunately, just buried her second sibling from fentanyl overdose.
Wow.
Her first sibling passed away a number of years ago from a pain pill, from a broken back, and then couldn't get off of it. So when you take a look at, and this is the conversation that has to happen, and I encourage families to have this conversation. Talk about the background. Where did it start? How did it start? Well, the realities were that as a society, we went through a period of time of overprescribing. So we had those folks that were on pain pills that couldn't afford the pain pills, or the doctors stopped prescribing them, and they went to the street. They progressed from the pill to heroin. Well, we have that community. But we have the other community, and that's our youth, through peer pressure. Hey, try this pill, or take a hit off of this joint. Well, FDA doesn't approve anything that isn't prescribed by a doctor. So when we take a look at the realities of marijuana in particular, which has been softened in messaging over the years, we can't lose track of the fact that the THC levels in today's marijuana are not the THC levels in our great-grandfather and grandfather's marijuana. THC levels have reached as high as 97, 99% in some states. There's recorded overdose deaths now from marijuana.
That's unheard of. Most people think you can't overdose from marijuana, but it's possible.
Absolutely. And how many parents have said to me, you know what, it's a weed they're smoking. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Interestingly enough, it takes Roundup to kill it. So if it takes a poison to kill this weed, why would we think we want to smoke it? But these are conversations that are happening throughout the country. And I'm not a policy maker. I'm a policy implementer. Throughout my whole career in government service, I followed orders like everybody else. The Drug Enforcement Administration and state and local agencies are out there every day trying to make a difference and fight against this evil. Our educators, through this foundation, have an opportunity, which, by the way, doesn't cost anything, thankfully, because of the proceeds from these specialized license plates, to teach our youth at the youngest of ages. And then finally, our medical providers, our healthcare professionals. They're doing everything they can. So instead of running 3 lanes, parallel lanes of effort, let's combine them this year, and let's send a message that we can cause a difference. We can save a life through wrapping St. Tammany in red.
It's not hard just talking to you for a couple of minutes to understand your passion, your why. You've been impacted personally. You did it for 42 years professionally. In your mind, how do we break through? How do we break through the children and get the message out there?
Yeah, I think it can start as easy as the conversation at home. I think it can start as easy as the parents, listen, you can order anything online. The parents understanding and looking at what their children are doing on social media. The understanding of and appreciation for who their children are hanging with, who are their friends today, that may or may not be their friends tomorrow. The understanding and appreciation that you have to put it on the table, whether it's the dinner table, whether it's the breakfast table. You have to tell your children, hey, if you ever set down a glass, a drink, and walk away for a moment, don't pick it back up. If somebody offers you a drink out of a water bottle, don't drink it. You don't know what's in it. Is it polluted? We don't know. But these conversations have to start in the house. And then we can, as a community, work together to push this messaging to our youth. Let's make a difference. Why not? Why wouldn't we? I guess is the question, right?
That's a great message to end on. It's a critical message. I want to thank you for not only coming by today, sharing this message, but also showing up every day to help our children and help our citizens here in St. Tammany Parish. So thank you. I appreciate
Thank you,
it, Craig.
Michael. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of Community Connect. A lot of resources available, so go visit their website, that Facebook page, and get involved. We'll see you next time.